particularly people who think, well, they've done a good job. They've done a good job. But when you tell them that they feel offended, and I don't think we should feel offended if we want to be part of this.
One of the reasons is, when you give information out, people from 17 countries are on this convoy. Even within Britain, from so many different parts of our country, right? And we don't know each other. As you can hear this very moment, can you hear the singing? The information, right? That has to be then dealt with. If they then go and tell everybody else and all this misinformation is spread, or sensitive information is spread in the wrong hands, it can cause more problems. So sometimes there was information given on a need-to-know basis. There were sometimes times when I didn't have all the information.
For example, the first meeting on that ferry that we made from our corner, me and Arshad, we were only simply trying to say, look, let's have some more positive input into it. And then people took it so personal.
I think you could be right in what you're saying, but however, the tactics of how to say it and when to say it and may have been a little bit mistimed.
No. What happened was that I think we spoke to some people, information got to them, and they became so defensive. And as soon as we actually made those suggestions, everybody, they had the planted people and they simply jumped on everybody else's back. I know, I mean, I've done this job since I was a 17-year-old kid. I know how to, sort of organize meetings and how to set things up. And that was the case. I mean, I'm a big enough a person to take it. But I would say is this, that it's got to be done on the basis that there's got to be collectiveness. There's got to be collectiveness. People from all different backgrounds, faiths, and political views, you can only have them in an organization if you respect them. If you don't respect them, if you don't allow them to be part of it, then they will not be. And when you don't have that, the organization becomes weak.
So do you not agree that constructive criticism is always sandwiched between praise on both sides?
Well, it's not a question of constructive criticism. It was good suggestions, which we will approve later on. Because what is the purpose of the convoy? The purpose of the convoy is you are going from A to B, you're doing a job. On the way, you're informing people. You're trying to get positive publicity. What were we getting? We're getting negative publicity. The publicity that we try to get in Turkey, Syria, and Jordan by inviting people and joining people and informing people. Why didn't you do that in France? Why didn't you do that in Germany? Why didn't you do that in Luxembourg? Why didn't you do that in Austria? Why didn't you do that in Italy?
Possibly because
what was stopping the organisers doing that there?
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, I asked a simple question. I know you will have had the negative people against that, but I'm sure you will have had much more positive too. And I said it's not just a question of driving through the streets, which I think gave us very bad publicity and there was some very bad behaviour. But what it is, in my opinion, is that we could have actually arranged with these people in advance. We could have had the leaflets made in those languages and given to people.
What we often forget is that this organisation is not even 1 year old yet. Well, in fact, it is exactly, no, it's not yet. Because this organisation came into existence on the 10th of January. Yeah? So it's 3rd of January today, it's still 1 week short of 1 year. And if you look at the achievements, this is our 3rd convoy, right? First one, obviously, you know from Britain, was on the 14th of February. Second one was the big USA one. This now is the 3rd one, and we're already planning now a 4th one in March, April, inshallah, this year. So in the time that we've had, yes, every new organisation has its hiccups and it has its obstacles, and we all learn, like a big learning curve. We have made mistakes organisationally and as individuals. The leaders know that they could have planned things better. But believe me, those people who have been on the first convoy will tell you that there were far more mistakes made on the first convoy than this one, and the next one will be better than this one. It's a natural progression, evolution. You get better and better and better as we learn more and more and more. So yeah, there is plenty of criticism and it's accepted, and the leadership accepts it as well. But you cannot slap your own face in public a lot of the time, because you need to have a quiet reflection, learn from it, and then move on.
I don't think so.
Criticism is a part of...
well, it's not criticism. These are positive suggestions. You see, you're using the wrong word again. It's not criticism.
You use the word criticism.
Again, yeah.
I'm saying that criticism can be constructive or it can be destructive, right? Now, but criticism either way is an important part of learning.
Yes.
Right? So I don't think anybody took it personally, but sometimes, as Brother Tariq pointed out, it's where you say it, who's listening, who your audience is, and how you say it. You can have a get-together with a few people and have a discussion, say, right, this is how we can make an improvement and we can move forward. But amongst us, as you know, there will be many spies. And we don't want to show them our weaknesses, we want to show them our strengths. And if there are any weaknesses, we need to work on them quietly and constructively and overcome them. And mashallah, we've done that, you know, we've all worked together.
Where those comments were made, in all fairness, it was supposed to be a review meeting. That is how it was actually, that meeting was collected. It's a review, it's an assessment of how far we got so far. So that was the time to say these things. Because it was
if you remember, I'm the one, when you were asking me, you know, putting these questions to me, I'm the one who said to you that bring those issues up in the group meeting. Right?
And that's
so why would I take anything personally? I'm the one who suggested that.
No, I'm not saying that you or whoever, I'm not taking personalities into it. It was an issue of when the points were to be made. And if you don't make them points at a review meeting, when are you going to make them?
Yeah.
You see, whether it's 5 or 10 or 20 people, they might be the organizers, but they're the owner of the organization. The organization belongs to people. It's for everybody's involvement. Unless they say, yes, you've got to have a membership, you're not going to be a member of this because of these conditions. No. If that is the case, then yes, I will say, okay, well, I'm not a member, that's fine.
Well, as you
know,
but
this is open.
As you know, in any organization, you have a hierarchy. There is people at the top who run projects, and the rest of us sometimes have to trust them. As the project is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, more and more people will then be in a situation to offer their input. Yeah. And that's just what's happening. And I think they have been opened it up to everybody.
Yeah, but the thing is, actually, see, for them and others to make accusation, yeah, there are, what do you call it, there will be infiltrators. I know there are infiltrators in everything. There are infiltrators in White House, right? Of their opponents. There are infiltrators in this organization. No, it's not a new thing. So you've got to be smart enough to plan your things. So, if we're making that suggestion, is an accusation that we're infiltrators?
I personally feel, again, I'm going back to the same point that you're making, but the way it was made, it was an attempt at constructive criticism and suggestion mixed together. However, there was no positive on either side of it. It came in harsh, you should have been doing this, this wasn't right, this was that, this is how it should be done, and hence the defensive moves that was taken were taken.
It had been built prior to that because
I disagree with that.
Let me give you an answer to your thought. When we were in that ferry, prior to that, when you were staying in that car park, and thanks to Rakaya and Arshad that I was ill and I had to go to doctor and they asked to let us sit there. I mean, I thank them for that.
Did you thank them at that meeting and say, look, thank you very much for blah, blah, blah?
I mean, I did so. Anyway, let me say this, and that is this. In that car park, how many people?
It didn't happen.
How many people are criticizing that?
We were all criticizing it. I was upset about being in that car park.
So if nobody else had the balls to say it.
No. You said it. Fine, you said it. However, you were looked after overnight inside a doctor's house. Yeah, you didn't pay any expenses towards that. They looked after you, and when it came to the time on the ferry, you just dissed the fact that if this didn't happen, we wouldn't have been doing this, we wouldn't doing that. You didn't say, look, thank you very much for the support that you gave last night. I was ill, I stayed in the house, blah blah. But I would suggest this.
Are you doing the Jeremy Paxman?
Would it not have been better? This person whose house we stayed in, she says she only found out half an hour before they were coming to the city, and that was she did not receive the call. She made the call. She made the call that I was on the internet. This convoy is supposed to be coming here. Can I help you? Can I meet you? So therefore, that proved to me that somebody somewhere had been actually misleading us and not giving the correct information.
The thing is also, when it's easy for them to say, if you had called me, we would have arranged. Everybody thinks that, oh, it's the Pakistani thing. If you had told me, I would have done this for you.
No, he was a witness to it. Ask him.
No, they would have said that, but then everybody will say that. They say, if you had told me a week before, I could have made some arrangements for you. They do not know the practicalities of the whole. They don't understand the sensitivity of it all. Because we're not just travelling through their country, we're travelling through how many? 12 countries altogether?
Okay. Just kind of like wrap this up.
There are many things that we need to be careful of.
Just to wrap this up now, Ash.
Yeah.
Through Europe, you've talked about the situation that we've had. Now, do you feel, as we came through Europe into the Arabian countries, Turkey, etc., etc., the issue of organisation and letting people in front know about what's going on, had it improved or had it did not improve?
Well, I personally think that it could still have been improved much more better. It should have been handled better. I'll tell you what, because rather than spending 4 days in Turkey, we could have spent less. We planned to stay more days in Turkey, Syria and Jordan. And those rallies, actually, they were supposed to help us. And but question mark remains, did they help us?
But then there's also...
Those are the precise arguments was used as an objection by the Egyptians.
Okay, but there's also the argument saying that maybe the Turks were not 100% ready. They were waiting for their vehicles, and for those reasons we had to wait for them to get ready on board before we left.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We've never been privy to these, some of the secret.
Because I know that on the last day, as we were leaving, 10 minutes before our vehicle set out of that car park, there were 5 brand new transit vehicles brought into that compound for the Malaysian constituency. Right? The Malaysians quickly got into the vehicles, threw the flag over the window, and set off. They were last minute. You know, they were brought into the compound.
So would you not agree with
last
me?
minute?
The point comes back to the point that I'm saying. Would you not agree it could have been better organized? If what you're saying is these were the last minute attempts happening.
Well, it could have been better organised, but it's a live event. Live event, things change, things happen, and you have to bring things into it. Like,
well, it's a live event, but how many weeks or months have you been advertising? Nearly 7 months?
You could never...
Nearly 7 months?
We could keep on going on this one.
No. Well,
but yeah, since the first one, they've been planning for this one.
So if they've been planning since then surely it could have been planned better.
But reality
would you not agree with that?
Doesn't always. You're a wise man, right? Reality on the ground doesn't always work out according to your
plans.
Expectations.
Yeah.
Second thing, this is our 3rd convoy. Even after 10 convoys,
you will still have something different. Answer some questions.
He's employed.
I would have to answer questions.
If you were employed, if you were doing this kind of mess, would you be employed in that job?
There are some risks, right, in the project which you cannot account for. You put contingency in, what is the risk? There are some very basic errors of communication and chains of command. Yeah. Right now, the communication, there's absolutely no reason why that could not be sorted at the start of the project. Yeah.
Well,
right? The risks, those you have to address as they
occur.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, sometimes allowances have to be made, but the basics, right, of planning, informing people, making inquiries where people can stay, because that girl Sarah, she made a very valid point.
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
What she said was, I said, well, we didn't know what the route was.
We're moving at 1 o'clock.
Right. I said,
we're going to be on the first. We're going to be on the first flight.
You printed your T-shirts,
right,
and your T-shirts have been out in circulation for 2 months. So that argument is completely negative.
Well, they had the dates of us leaving in October rather than December.
Yeah, exactly. But to make a call to the local council to say there's 150 people that are travelling, do you have them facilities?
Do we have the support of the areas that we're going through? That's the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we have the support? Well, they're against us.
I tried calling you earlier, I can't get through to you, right?
So ring me back in about the European law has to provide
I'll have a name for you, okay?
Whether I like you or not, they have to provide that. Bradford Council has, every council has in the European Union. And that's basically the point. So some things can be improved. This is not criticism, this is just learning points. Right? And hopefully it will improve as time goes by. Right? But we all have to be open, right, by the suggestions and the comments that we made. And as an organisation, we'll all have to improve.
Yeah. And again, we'll make a note to improve the next time.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's all we ask.
Now, at the end of this,
I'm afraid we are running out of time.
No. At the end of this convoy, I can only assume and predict that all team leaders, hopefully the volunteers, will be invited to give some positive feedback, and we will improve from there.
Well, you're assuming, you still don't have an answer.
Don't have an answer.
I can tell you this. I would not actually say, I will not sit quietly and say, well, we think somebody's going to do it. I will be asking the question that we should do it.
Okay. Brother Mukhtar, you have been on Hard Talk. Thank you very much. To see you in Gaza.
Yeah. Victory to Palestine.
Viva Palestina.